It'll be hard sitting there
It's
and not being able to do it.
it's been humbling experience for both of us.
Jeez.
You guys the only regulars that brave the cold?
No kidding. No kidding.
We live so close. It's pretty
So
easy.
you're putting that PTO to use we carried over?
Nope, can't do it.
A little bit from home, but not a
I
lot.
can't remember what my excuse was.
Yeah.
It didn't matter.
Yeah.
Didn't have to be.
Did you get those other signs, Sally?
I got those 3 of them.
Where's the paperwork that goes with them?
Well, I didn't know how to give it out.
Yep, that's it.
Yep.
Voucher. Yeah, put that right in there.
$750. Well, it's better than 12,000.
Indeed, yes.
Tim Eller told me, he said, if you put stop signs out there, so if you put it on the telephone pole, that's fine. But if you put a pole up yourself, said you're going to have trim around it.
Oh,
Well, Brooke says, hey, we can just put some grass and weed killer around it.
Yeah, well, that's sometimes
There's-
Yeah, I don't have
call that liquid weed eater.
It's gonna be.
Yeah. So he knows what's going on. So
Yeah.
he didn't say no. So
Gotcha.
I don't know if that's really, I suppose that's theirs.
Yeah, I didn't make any headway with the surveyor, so we could talk about it.
Okay.
Okay.
6:30 yet?
It is.
So I forgot my watch. I looked down. I don't know what time it is. We'll call this meeting to order. And thank you folks for coming out. I think you need to check your mental acuity though. I'm not sure that it was a good thing to do. If we didn't have to be here, I wouldn't be here. Hello there.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Stephanie's right behind me.
Sweet.
So call this meeting to order and have both of you went over the past minutes, the two previous ones. Okay. So I guess I'd entertain a motion to.
I'd like to
approve.
make a motion that the minutes from the past 2 meetings be approved.
Okay, do I have a second? Second. Yeah, Megan seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, good deal. Hello.
Hello, hello.
Ed, you're next up. I see you don't have a whole lot, so that's good.
No, we had 38 calls for service year to date, 397 calls for last year total. Other than that, everything's going smooth. Just keep pushing forward for flock.
Okay. Yeah, I know that there's some papers up here the other day I signed.
Yeah.
So, which I suppose goes to the state so they can shuffle it around and do whatever they do with it. So,
Yeah, I think Chad's crew is slowly starting on the rock over there. Do want to talk to you about that. I just think it may be too wide coming out. I mean, maybe you have a reasoning for it to come out 8 feet.
To be honest, he sent me something last week and I told him to call you.
Okay.
Because I was at home, so.
I
we
mean, I
talked
think-
about 6, we talked about 8. The lumber's there to do 8, but you just cut some off the plywood basically. Like the framing, just cut some off the framing, cut some off the plywood. All the lumber's there to do it 8 foot out, but you could go 6 foot.
Once he asked me 8 foot, I said, yeah, right. But then once I got in there and looking at it today, I was like, man, that's a lot. You know, it takes up 8 feet of that. And it wouldn't be that big of a deal if we didn't have the post sitting there.
Yeah, I think there won't be one in the middle. It'll just be one by the stairs and then one at the end.
Right.
So in theory, you could pull something underneath it.
I mean, I guess we can go down there
No,
and set a
it
post.
it'll be a while before we get to that point.
Yeah, that's fine.
So
Yeah.
because they're struggling with other issues that they had to stop working on it. So
Well, I got a couple people that have community service that does framing. Maybe we can,
that would be good.
yeah. So
okay. All right.
that's it.
Yeah, that's it. Okie doke. Chad.
Yeah. So just got a little recap on the finances for the water that we just didn't quite make it to break even, but you know, $750, as you said, is better than 12,000 in the red. So, which is where we were at earlier in the year. So, and then 27,000 in the black for the wastewater. Like I said, I point out there in both of those, we did defer a lot of projects. So, I mean, on the wastewater side, yeah, we would have burned up a little more of that had we finished all those. And on the water, we'd be further in the red if we would have pursued some of those things on the to-do list. So, yeah, just pretty minor. This, I don't know if the guy showed you that. That is,
Yeah,
that's the
they
piece
did.
they cut out.
They showed me that.
Yeah.
That caused quite a lot of water in our cul-de-sac.
Which, of all the, sir, that cul-de-sac has been, I was here, maybe it was 20 years ago, and I remember looking at the bottom side of the curb by your house.
Mm-hmm.
That was the service line. I want to say we've had 4 or 5 service repairs in your cul-de-sac and nowhere else in the new addition.
What's this from?
A service line that goes across Meadow Court.
That was going to Jennifer Jacoby's.
Well,
And causing a leak?
yeah.
Oh yeah.
A big leak, huh?
And I would say that has been leaking for a while, because if you look at where they cut it, you see it's thin on this side.
Oh, sure, yeah, I can see that.
So that, I mean, I wish I had a good explanation for that. I really, because they're extremely difficult to find when they're service lines as opposed to a main break. So it did a lot of damage. I think Sean told you about that. We're gonna have to wait and see because it got into holes that Eric and I had dug 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So as they were digging to find this leak, all the backfill from the previous leak was falling in under the asphalt to the hole they were digging. So there's a bunch of if you drive back there, you'll see a big outline painted, and that's
Yeah,
what
I
he
know,
wants
yeah,
to
but
keep an eye on.
I don't need to see it because we've got cones around. I'm having
Oh,
to drive around it.
I apologize. We can go pick those up anytime. So
Can we drive on that then? Because he's afraid it would cave in,
Yeah,
possibly.
I may move him once I talk. Sean's now on his snowmobile trip, so
Yeah.
I'll talk to him. I told him the biggest concern is once it gets warmer. The asphalt's, you'll see it once it gets warmer. Any
Mhm.
place the asphalt will get warm, and you'll start to see it. It won't be like a suck hole that just swallows a car. I mean,
'Cause
it's
right now-
probably a void like
Yeah.
there might be a void like this under there.
A golf cart might fit in it.
Yeah,
Don't be
the
alarmed.
golf cart might fit.
Waste management has a major problem. They
Yeah.
got to come down, then they got to back clear down the street because they can't get turned around there.
Yeah, we can definitely move them in once I talk to him a little bit, because I want to keep an eye on it. I really hate to saw cut that big area just to look for, it's about $10 a square foot to fix asphalt plus our labor to get rid of the old asphalt. So it's
But aren't you going to have to cut it though to be able to see underneath it?
yeah, and I need to know a little more where to cut. I don't want to guess at it and then cut a large area out.
Because there's a section here, then there's about 10 foot, and then there's another big section
Yeah,
that was
just
cut out.
the last time that was about the same thing. We had a leak locator there. We dug a hole, found nothing, filled it back in, dug another hole, finally found it. That one was also heading towards Jacoby's house.
Mhm.
So 10 years ago. So it's just, then we had the one probably 6 years ago south of your house that was somebody had buried service lines and never used them. They were just
Oh.
coiled up underground and they were leaking. So, but it's makes it very expensive for such a small problem. So yeah, I felt his pain as he was texting me and asking me for advice, and I said, you just got to keep digging holes until you can find it. So
I told him so at least it wasn't 0 degrees.
yes, yeah,
So-
we're trending up, so we're waiting a couple days to see if the trend stays, to see if we need to start looking for another leak somewhere. I usually like to see if people could be dripping faucets right now, but I'm more concerned we might have another leak somewhere that's our water usage is starting to go up again. So
Hmm.
it's part of it. So.
Okay, well, I'll leave that to you then. So I'll keep driving around the cones.
Well, no, I would say once I talk to him, I can move him. He asked me about pulling them, and I said, well, not until I could talk to him more at length about it. We had a problem with one of the pump stations yesterday, so I didn't really get a chance to go over
Okay.
that with him. So,
Okay.
so yeah, on the wastewater, yeah, I've covered that. So the stop sign, I did call the county surveyor about what I guess I would call it the apparent right of way on Delphi Road. They had no information to help us other than we'd have to hire a surveyor to try to go to the recorder's office and start looking for information on what if he said, well, there's might be some stuff when they did the housing addition on Maud Drive, on what the right of way would be. So I guess unless legal counsel's got any advice, you might be looking at hiring a surveyor to prove that we have the authority to plan a stop sign.
This is the stop sign where we were talking about like potentially people that were gonna have to back out of their driveway, kind of funky. Or
Yeah,
there was
yeah.
a couple different options we could put it.
We tried to move farther east so that wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
way, yeah.
Okay. That's the one.
Which you can see the right of way, the apparent right of way, which he agreed with on the north side of Delphi Road.
Yeah.
But then the corporation boundary looks to run down the center of the road. And which would line up, he said, well, according to this, that, the cemetery owns out to the center of the road, but he said, unless in their, plat or deed, it shows right of way so many feet in. So we'd have to basically get a surveyor involved to prove it.
Well, we haven't pulled the plat or the deed yet.
Mm,
Okay.
No, I called the surveyor and then figured I'd come back here and see what the pleasure was, so.
Because that's something that
We could do.
we
Yeah.
could
We could-
potentially pull before we hire a surveyor. It's going to be a lot cheaper to pull that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you get Bethany exactly where it is, she can take a look and see what we can find. And then if there's nothing on there, we'd still have to hire a surveyor. But if it does indicate that, then that would solve the problem.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, Maud Drive is just a horseshoe just across from the cemetery.
Okay.
And it'd be the far east portion.
See it there. Chad pointed out.
Yeah, this side here. So yeah, it's fine to about here,
That's-
and then the corporation boundary runs on Beacon runs about down the center of the road.
Okay.
Even though we're taking care of the road.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's on your index, right? Your
On
road
our-
index.
Our NDOT
Yeah.
inventory, yeah, it shows up on our NDOT.
Okay. Yeah, we'll take a look at that.
Okay, let us know what we need to do then. If we need to
Yeah.
get a survey, I guess we'll have to, but so. Okay,
So apparently our current fuel delivery guy who was working for Keystone, has now left Keystone, has went to Newton Oil. Of course, Newton Oil had been after us for some time to switch. There's no cost to us to switch providers. Eric Ramsey, our current guy, has been very good to us. Unless you have any objections,
Is it oil cheaper from Newton than Keystone?
it's BR fuel is what it is, our gas and diesel. We get our oil from,
Is it cheaper or is it, what's the
probably
reason?
same, just
Okay.
because this guy is always taking care of us. I've never had to call him to fill up our tanks, and Keystone.
You like the representative?
Yeah, that's what it
Okay.
is too. Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, and then in this area, Aaron Fife, the fire chief, is the other Newton Oil driver, so it's local guys. But like I said, obviously that's something that you guys would have to. I don't know that you have to. I don't know if that's within something I can do, but I wanted to run it by you. So.
Are the tanks owned by
So
Keystone?
yeah, there's no cost to us. Newton would pump our tanks out. We call Keystone. They pull their tanks. Newton at no cost to us would put their tanks in.
Is there any issues with containment stuff that needs to be updated?
So ours are dual wall tanks. That's what when we put those in there, we had to put dual wall tanks in, and then we had the wiring is all explosion proof inside that
Okay.
room. So
I'm just making sure everything's up to date if we need to update anything.
Yeah,
in
there
the
was-
process.
it was amazing I don't know how little of steps we had to go through other than the dual wall tanks to put those tanks inside that little jut out because they were always outside before. So,
Okay.
Because we went through our insurance company for the town to make sure there's no issues. But yeah, there was just a couple things on the explosion proof wiring that we had to make sure we're up to code. So, but yeah, unless you had any objections, I don't know that I'll do it right away.
I don't know that we need to.
So,
Was that with Keystone? It was buy and pay. You didn't.
we just
budget.
paid whatever was on the truck. I did look into, we talked about this a little bit during budget last year. I did look into contracting the fuel. The problem compared to like a larger municipality is they would only contract about half the fuel we were buying, and we weren't buying enough diesel to where they would even contract the fuel. So at that point I was wanting to maybe bid it to see what it would shake out as, because the county had just went through a bid process where they ended up saving a bunch of money. So, and then, but once he told me that, I said, I don't even know if it's worth messing with at that point. And I also didn't want to jeopardize the service we had been getting with our driver for over 10 years. So when we run out of fuel, who's gonna bring our fuel? Newton was fine, but like what the county went with is not local, but they did save a bunch of money. So anyway, enough of that.
I mean, would it hurt to look into doing a contract with Newton as far as how many gallons? I mean, do you have a ballpark?
I
How many
do.
gallons
I don't.
potential. I'm not asking for numbers now.
I actually probably have it pretty quick. I mean, well, I can get with you at the end of the meeting, but
Just curious, like if you knew we needed 2,500 gallons of diesel and 5,000 gallons of gasoline, if they would contract it,
Oh,
and
they
see what it would be versus what
will.
we paid in the past.
because some of that you could, and that's not something, because we have a budget for fuel, so it's one of those almost playing the market thing. Because if you think fuel's gonna go up in a year, well then maybe we ought to be contracting it. Versus when I looked at this, everybody was almost positive, and it went down. So if we had contracted it back when we were looking
Lost
at
money,
it,
yeah.
we would have lost money.
Yeah.
But the other side of that is, and you guys have been typically budgeting enough money that you haven't even come close to coming up short. So the other side of that is you can budget. If you know exactly how many gallons you're going to buy, you can budget exactly what you need for the, add a 10% comfort factor and budget exactly what you need based on the contract price they gave you. But like I said, when I looked at it, they wouldn't contract the diesel at all, and then they would only contract half of the gas.
Yeah, I
Maybe
hate-
Newton would contract more of it. I don't know, but they also said what was the price was every time I talked to them, the price was good for 2 hours.
2 hours.
So, because it's so volatile,
Yeah, wow.
no pun intended. So,
I would not want to contract at this point because I think it's going to probably go lower for a period of time. I would think at this point.
yeah, and that was kind of what I was thinking, but obviously I wanted to run that by you guys too.
Yeah.
See if that was okay with you. So,
Yeah.
but I'll get you those because he texted it to me, so it won't take me long to find.
That's fine.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. I don't know that we actually need to. Do that.
Well, like I said, I at least wanted to run it by you, so you knew that I wasn't just out there willy nilly.
As long as it's not costing us any more money.
Yeah.
So,
you know.
I don't see that. So I just reminded you about the special meeting next week for the to open the bids for the community crossing
Right.
grant. Which
6:30, isn't it?
6:30, yeah.
Mhm.
Which leads into the next thing, the crosswalk.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's right
here.
here.
Yeah.
Okay.
The crosswalk safety grant. We submitted what they call a request for proposals for the engineering side of it. I had a couple with my stuff going on the last couple of weeks. I had a little flub up on that. We did get one, and I also had to show them proof of what they call recruitment. You have to get 3. You're supposed to score them. Even though we got 1, and then I got 2 no's at the last minute yesterday because we sent it to the state to advertise for the 14th. They changed the due date to the 13th when they advertised. I didn't catch it.
Oh,
And it was based on when they received the stuff from us. I didn't, like I said, I didn't know they changed. So I was scrambling yesterday to find a couple engineering firms to basically say no, or get me a letter of intent to say that they were interested. So we did get 2. We had to have 2 no's, or we had to re-advertise and wait another 4 weeks.
golly.
So, and the one thing that's going to be fast with this project is that for whatever reason we had to be under contract to get the reimbursement by March 1st, even though they think the quickest letting date, because they will bid this, the state will bid this once we get to that point through their channels, is the earliest was October of 26.
What?
Really?
This is a federal aid, since this is federal aid money,
Wow.
and like as a comparison, like when Frankfurt's done like some of their federal aid projects, that process can be 6 to 8 years.
Yeah, it takes a long time.
So yeah, this is quick for federal aid projects, I guess. For me, I was marveling at that. So since we announced it, I wanted to clarify that it won't be as fast as people think it's going to be. But they did put a very quick clock on us to get this
So it
consultant.
won't be ready for next school year.
No,
No.
not looking like it. So I'll I will find. I need to get a couple people. Even though we got one, we still have to score that one. And so I'll get with some people to score it. So if I can get all this wrapped up at that special meeting next week, I might be able to. I think the next thing is to be able to start negotiations on what their contract would be, since we only got one, and then that has to go back to NDOT. They have to approve all that before, and then once we start using them, we will pay the invoices, and then NDOT will reimburse us the 90%. So it's like I said, it's a good thing it's a 10% match, because there is a lot of hoops to jump through with federal money. So so anyway, just kind of catching up on that. The only other thing, that back truck thing was on there from last month. We're hitting another low. We haven't had anybody quit on the part-time help, but we've had a severe cutoff in a couple of guys' availability. One of them took a different full-time job. The other one's just not having as much availability. One of them was actually here Friday to help plow when I was gone Friday night. So I would like to re-advertise for another part-time position, or just another part-time guy, to see if we can see if there's anybody new out there that didn't apply last year. And then I put in there about maybe talking to the school about, once again, trying to get somebody younger. Because my intention is still, hopefully at 55 to be, that'd be 9 years. So that'd be good to get somebody younger in here and start training them for the next generation. 9 years sounds like a long time, but a lot of this job is just time on the job.
9 years sounds better than the 19 I have left.
Well, I'd still have to get another job, but I mean, the theory is that since I started when I was 19, that would make sense to go get in the private sector.
I guess you came along with Eric here, and then
I would.
How that training went, I don't know, but
I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Eric. So.
Okay.
So that's pretty much it. Like I said, I don't know if you need a motion on that, but
no.
I just wanted to, in case you saw it on Facebook, I wanted to make sure.
Not surprised at us.
Exactly. So
That's good. Yeah.
I was looking through some notes back from November, December. I think it was November, about reappropriating money. I thought it was from MVH restricted. 45,000. I just had a note said January 2025. Reappropriate, I think it was 45 or 50,000.
So she did get that moved at the end of
fine.
the year. So basically, what that is, we moved it into the fund called Community Crossings.
That's fine. I had saw a note, and I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. We could have still done it this year, but it would have required additional appropriation and some other stuff. So she was able to get that moved
That's
over.
fine.
So.
To next year.
So it's in that fund now, which is
2025.
which is an unappropriated fund, because it's only to pay the matching portion of the community crossings grants that we get. So, and then we'll add this year's money to finish the and hopefully the bids. I've been getting some questions from some of the contractors, and I'm hoping the bids come in to where we don't have to abandon it and rebid it or redo the grant in July if the bids come in too high. So hopefully they don't come in too high.
Okay.
So
Okay. Anything else?
no, that's it.
Okay. Good deal. Legal counsel.
I don't have anything. Do you guys have anything that you need from me other than working on looking up plat, survey, etc. for the Maud Drive stop sign?
Yeah. The only thing I had was, I don't know if he was here last time. Bob, I didn't know if he was going to get with you or not on the gentleman that is not hooked up to water, sewage.
I have not
Please.
talked to Bob about that yet, but I will reach out to Bob. I've got to actually meet with him on a couple of other completely unrelated matters, so I'll just schedule a time to sit down with Bob.
See if what we're doing on that one, because I mean, this guy's, it's been what, 8 years that he hasn't. And like I say, Waste Management doesn't pick up there, and the neighbors, I guess, are having to fog in the summertime just to keep the insects down when their kids go out and play. So I think we need to figure something out there, what we can do, what we can't do, what have you. So,
I'm not sure what I'd heard is true. The house that burnt Summer's Inn Festival Night,
Mhm.
corner of North and Gaddis, is that right? There's no homeowner's insurance on the house. I wasn't gonna bother the homeowner about cleaning it up because I figured insurance would take several months, but I heard they didn't have insurance. So I don't know.
The owner died about a month ago. Month and a
Gotcha.
half, maybe 2 months ago.
Okay.
So her daughter and son-in-law, or vice versa, and kids live there. So the owner is no longer. It wasn't insured. That's true. That's what the people live
Who's
in.
the owner?
I don't know, some
Oh,
lady who was lived in Frankfurt.
okay.
So
I just didn't
she
want
she
to
owns
bother.
the house, or owned the house. Her kid lived in it with their spouse and a couple grandkids. They had no homeowners insurance on it, and then she passed away in October, I think, maybe November. So the owner. So I don't know how
Where's the
that.
family staying?
I don't know.
Think better.
There's another project.
I just figured that the homeowner's insurance would take a couple months to settle, but then I heard there wasn't homeowner's insurance, so then it's like, well,
Yeah. The lady that was living there, the mom, she came up and told us it wasn't insured. So I heard that from pretty much the horse's mouth.
Obviously, if she died, there's an estate. I don't
Yeah.
know what we can do with the estate.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know either.
what's the name of the lady? Do we know the name of the lady who owns the home?
Sarah can.
Well,
Well, I don't know about that.
Donna Plow, Ploughe. Don't exactly quote me on that last name spelling, but it's definitely Donna.
What's the address for the home? Do you guys know that by chance?
Flower.
What's that?
Is it flower?
Yeah, you could pronounce that. I suppose,
It's also
either
on
way.
North Gaddis Street, catty corner from the other house that doesn't have.
Yes.
Stone's throw from the other one.
I just don't want it to become an eyesore for a long
Well,
time.
you know that
either.
will if nothing happens. I mean,
Well,
it's
that's
just
why
going to sit there
I
and
said
deteriorate.
I didn't want to say anything until spring because I figured, okay, homeowner's insurance, I know it can take a while to work.
She
Yeah,
passed.
I didn't know
November.
that. I didn't know she had died. There one day insurance.
She
Oh,
passed
it is.
November
The
1st.
address shows up as 111 West North. That is right.
And I'm looking to see the name of
What street did you say it was on?
North
111
Gaddis.
West North Street is the official address.
Oh, I see. Because
Yeah,
it faces the
Yeah,
other.
it faces the other
road.
street. Yeah.
It's almost like it's never. When Rodkeys lived there, I always went in the side door, I guess.
Yep.
It always seemed like the front door to me.
And what's the address for the guy who hasn't hooked up to utilities for a while? Do we know that one?
Chad should know off the top of his head.
Yeah.
What?
Is that 103? Is that 103? North Gaddis.
Yes. Because Hufford's is 101, so I think it's 103. But it was odd.
Well, I'm getting on
Didn't
the
it have a
beacon
weird?
right
Didn't
now.
it have a? I felt like it wasn't the next.
It is odd.
It's not 103, but it should. It seems like it should be 103 because Hufford's is 101. Or maybe it was the plow. No, because that's North Street.
I was gonna look up to see if that's the one that shows on the beacon.
There were too many children. I couldn't decipher who that lady was I talked to. 6 kids on there.
Okay, so the spelling on the
Survivors.
111 North is Plough.
Perfect.
I added an E. Or I shouldn't have.
What's the first name?
Donna.
Donna.
Donna. Okay.
And she's one lived in Frankfurt though, right?
Yeah, owned the house though.
Yep, I will dig into all of the above.
Yeah, it is. So Patrick Burns is the other one, 103 North Gaddis. So
Oh, it is 103.
it is 103.
There's like maybe it's Jay's house that's different. Then there's like one of those houses in there that completely jumps a bunch of numbers.
Yeah, you're right. So the guy to the north becomes 151.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Campbell is.
Yeah, Jay's 151.
Anything else you all need from me?
I don't think so. Think of anything? Anything else? No. Okay. All right. At least you got all the homework.
Sounds good.
Brooke, you're up to bat.
Some of those allowance dockets to sign, and then wanted to talk to you about talk to Keystone this week about bank reconciliation. We got rid of the sweep accounts, but that still wasn't good enough for them to reconcile. They want us to go down to one bank account. So that's what we're going to do. Been talking to the same lady, Cindy Grant from First Financial. It's just going to simplify everything, is what she said. I'm having her come talk to you guys before I do anything because I know about as much about it as you guys do as far as how simple that's going to be. She said it's going to make everything really transparent, though. Fine with me, whatever. Doesn't make any difference to me, but everything will be right there, one bank account. We won't have to move money around to cover. And when people, what she was having trouble with when she was trying to reconcile was the credit card payments. Then they come in and part of it goes to recycling, part of it goes to water and sewer and compost. That all is one price, but then on the or on the bank statement, it's one price. But in Keystone, it's more like 3 or 4 prices she's trying to chase down. So what Sarah and I had been doing all along was going through the book and checking them all off. And we would just have to go through everything twice. She said you should, there's no reason you should have to do that, and you're making it way too hard on yourself. So I'm all for making it as easy as possible. And Sarah said, am I still going to have a job?
Aw.
And when it was all said and done, she said, yeah, but this is just going to simplify everything. So she's going to come in with a spreadsheet and have it all tied it up with a little bow on it, talk to you guys, and then you guys can help me decide if that's a good idea or not.
I'm sure it's going to be because that's what they're recommending. Keystone's
Yeah.
recommending.
Keystone's recommending it, and so Cindy thinks it'll be better too from the bank. So
Well, if and when we ever get on it again, which I don't know how they do it, every couple of years, I assume,
yeah,
then it's all right there. They don't have to
yeah.
hunt stuff
She said the
around like
auditors
us.
will love it too.
Yeah.
I said great.
It's protecting ourselves as well.
She wanted to come in on the 27th. I told her she needs to come in after 4. Is it after 4 or 4:30?
I get off at 3 usually.
So 4, great. Because if she comes at 4 on the 27th, I have a home game that night, but I won't have to be at the school until 5:15, 5:20. So that give me an hour and 20 minutes. That should be plenty of time.
This
So
school?
look at your
Games at
calendars
this
for the
school?
yes,
this month,
games at
right?
this school.
Okay.
And it's 6th grade basketball, so I mean, it's not a big deal. But I'm the coach, so I need to be there.
Yeah, it's really.
But
it's a
I
big
can
deal.
have another parent or my assistant, Kevin Woolen. I can have him be there when they do warm ups and stuff, so I don't have to skate
So
out.
you
But
saying 4?
the 27th at 4, how does that work for you guys?
That's fine.
Do you
Okay.
all need me here for that?
I don't care. I mean, depending on
It's just information for us.
Or
Yeah.
you guys
there's
can
not going to be a
tell me.
vote or anything. It's just it's information, and then we can decide
I don't.
together if we want to do that.
You will need to advertise it though still.
Okay.
Special meeting, yeah.
Does it?
Yeah.
What is there a time frame on that?
48 hours. You
Okay.
need to just notify the press. You don't have to put it in the paper
Mhm.
as like a run an ad or anything. You just have to notify the press and then post it on the door 48 hours in advance. And the 48 hours is not weekends or holidays. So
Yeah.
just weekdays to make sure that you get that up there.
Okay.
And yes, it would be a special meeting.
Okay.
4 o'clock. Is that what we said?
On the 27th.
Got it.
Okay. That's all I have.
So you got?
Yep.
I have in my calendar on the 22nd that we have a meeting at 6:30 in the park.
Correct.
APC. Okay.
Yeah.
Nobody had mentioned it. I just want to make sure.
That is one with the other towns, their representatives.
Okay.
It's a thing we have to do every year.
What day is that, Sal?
Wednesday the 22nd.
And your next special meeting for CCMG is the 21st, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the intention's to just
Is that
take them
one
under
Kat's at?
advisement and then
Kat?
award the February
Yes, she
regular
is.
meeting.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, she was last year. Was that
Do you
6:30?
have an, do you
Yes.
have an engineer that you work with?
DFNS.
Oh, okay.
That's
Cool.
what,
Do
yeah.
you have Colin?
What's it? Colin, yeah.
Colin,
21st,
okay.
we're meeting
Yeah,
here at
I know.
6:30. 22nd,
guy.
Town Park at
Yes, I like
6:30.
We're gonna be so sick of each other.
I know, I don't like you now.
That's funny.
And now we got on Monday,
I've
4
been so
o'clock.
busy. I'm dealing with an audit at home right now.
Oh,
Oh, boy.
Brooke, is someone gonna open the pavilion, or do I need to stop and get a key?
I'll open it.
Okay, and close it?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I'll probably be there because of the area plan member. That's how I knew about
Oh,
the
yeah.
meeting. It's because the area plan members were invited to be
Did we
there.
get the stuff at the pavilion?
Not yet. I haven't been.
I figured the lights may not. I just didn't know if the gas had been.
Oh yeah, the stove's been swapped out.
Yeah, that's what
Oh
I
yeah,
was-
that went great.
I figured
yeah.
the lights were
Yeah.
rescheduled.
Looked good, and, yeah, those guys, Brian and Kevin knocked that out in like a half a day. I couldn't believe it. I mean, because I had to run new wire and everything. And done. Like, okay, great.
nice to have a fish and health, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's great.
Brooke, did you get a email from Sievert on something about?
I did.
Okay. Yeah, water, yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna talk
Or
to Chad
core,
about
part of the
that.
core thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, there's two different things he sent me, but yeah, one was the core fund and the other one was, I don't know. I pulled him up today and looked at him again. He actually came in and I didn't get to talk to him because I was on the phone with Bank of New York. Yeah, this one's the DLGF stuff. And we did get that because Sarah looked that up. It's budget stuff, and then the other one was for core.
So we're good on everything there?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Anybody else got anything else you want to add? Nothing, okay. Our expanded group tonight? Okay,
Limited.
all right. So I will
Sign in
entertain
before
a
you leave,
motion.
just so I have your names right. I don't have to look up.
Yep.
business
I will
cards.
entertain a motion to end this meeting.
Make a
What,
motion to
entertainment?
adjourn.
Okay.
I entertain it too.
Okay.
I second that motion.
We made second to adjourn the meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good deal. Thank you.
With me,
Now you're getting out in the cold, cruel world.
but the drive home isn't very far.
Hello.
Brooke, after
Yes.
we get through special meetings here in the next couple of weeks, then are we back to the normal second
Well,
Tuesday
Ben,
of
how's
the
it
month,
for
right?
yours? Have you had any glitches or anything with your
No,
Want to make
self-driving?
sure that I get all of
No,
those put
actually,
on my
we
calendar
went
and then
to
Alicia's calendar.
Weston, Florida,
I think
Right
for
after
the one on the
Christmas.
21st,
Yeah.
and there was like
one of us will be here, but I don't think we need us both.
Okay.
out of like
Um,
a
Do you want
400
someone to
500
come?
mile stretch.
And I don't think
where
anybody
touched
needs to
steering
come for
wheel
the
3 miles on the interstate.
Does it come up and say, you know, no,
Yeah.
let you know?
Yeah, it'll tell you ahead of time.
All right. Sweet.
Then the
Just since
27th,
it's
do
a-
you want somebody here for that
Since the
meeting?
last time they
No,
took
I
us
don't
to
think so. That's just us
Yeah.
trying to
GM,
decide if
whoever
we want to do
they
one account. I leave it with 3.
Okay,
The road is different than before.
Alright.
Like it added a
Then
lane or something like
somebody
that.
will be here for the
Intersection.
CCMG, and then
Car
after
crews
that,
out,
we'll
they'll
see
recognize where I'm at.
Okay. Awesome.
Really?
Thanks, ladies.
Yeah.
And then it'll come, you just grab hold of the wheel, and it shuts off.
Indeed, yes, you know, I'm
You see a little icon pop back up.